Hey folks, hope you're doing well. On today's show, I'm just going to do a little afternoon stroll around this little community called Lynden, Washington. It's a beautiful day, and I'm excited to show you around. Let's start the show. So yeah, guys, Lynden is a town of about 15,000 people, a city, I suppose. It's located about 5 miles south of the Canadian border. There's a border crossing here that a lot of people like to use instead of the main one up there in Blaine. It's a farming community mostly. The main street here, Front Street, was named one of America's great small town main streets a few years back. It's really nice. Now, during this coronavirus lockdown, the city has seen some economic problems. Especially in this South Side neighborhood, we've seen a rise in crime. Children can't play in the streets anymore. People just don't know what to do. It's getting really bad around here. I'm really not sure that this area is even habitable anymore. It's dark times, my friends. So in times like these, times of crisis, where could people in a small town like Lynden go for sanctuary? So let's show you a few options here. Where would someone on this South Side neighborhood perhaps go on a Sunday to get guidance, to get questions answered, for solace? Perhaps they could start at the First Christian Reformed Church. And of course, if that's not a good fit, they could always try the Second Christian Reformed Church. Or they could try the Third Christian Reformed Church. Or they could pop over here to the Bethel Reformed Christian Church. Now this is huge, guys. I'm about to break this. The city of Lynden, Washington is going through a Christian Reformation right now. It's amazing. It's the Wittenberg, the Worms, the Weimar of the northwest interior of Washington state. Now, of course, guys, you can't physically go to these churches for services on Sundays. These churches I've shown you, Christian Reformed churches, have shut down services during this crisis. But a lot of churches are live streaming their services. So anyone, anywhere, can just get online and go to a free live stream of a church any day of the week, basically. So if Christianity is your inclination, I suggest you do so. This church here, for instance, the First Reformed Church, is doing live Facebook screenings at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Now, of course, we don't know if this is a Christian church or not, because Christian is not in the name. Maybe they should rename it First Reformed Church of Christ or something like that. Probably a good idea. Okay, so I suppose I'll answer someone's question in what I assume is going to be an abbreviated episode here. My cousin Amy asked again what kind of coffee drinker I am. Do I like drip, French press, K-cup, espresso? You know, Amy, I like all kinds of coffee. I've never been a fan of the K-cup stuff just because it's usually flavored, and I haven't found that the coffee that the K-cups produce is really that good. Plus there's the problem of the environmental impact of all those little plastic cups. I don't think they're necessary. I generally just do drip coffee. I usually grind my own beans, but from time to time I do buy the beans ground. I'm not super picky with coffee. I appreciate a really good cup of coffee. I also appreciate that really crummy, like New York style regular coffee, which is like crummy coffee and a little cream and sugar. I do love espresso though. My favorite coffee drink is a cortado. Some might call it a flat white. It's basically somewhere between a latte and just straight espresso. So a really dense, lots of flavor, a darker version of a latte served in a smaller cup. But I do it all, Amy. Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, guys, so one last thing before we end the show with a quick visit with our official horse, Mr. Dangles. A lot of people don't realize this. But if you are out in a public space, not private property, and perhaps not a public building, a school or a government building, but in a public place like the street or a park or the sidewalk, you have every right to film whatever and whoever you want to. Now, of course, if someone were to ask you nicely to not film them, or to not film their property, or their church, or their business, you know, we're kind people, so we'd like to oblige them. We have every right to film people. We have every right to film authority figures. If you're in a public space and you want to film a police officer, feel free. You have every right to do so. They cannot tell you not to. But yeah, just FYI, you know, if you're ever out wanting to make a video like this, just stay in a public area. You can film whatever you want. So that's about it for today, folks. You know, it was a nice little light show. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Lynden, Washington. We'll be back tomorrow. A little denser program, try and get into some issues that some of y'all might care about. But for now, we're just going to say hi to Mr. Dangles, and then I'll let you go, okay? Mr. Dangles is out in his field, per usual, hanging out there in the middle. Maybe next time I'll bring some carrots and see if I can't coax him over to hang out with us. All right, guys, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you tomorrow.